Okay, so I'm on the bench here. I figured I'd do it with the bench as it was kind of already pretty much set up. So this first type of cluster set is very, very simple. You can do it with doubles, singles, triples, fives, whatever. And you're basically going to do, today I'll do it with triples, but you're basically going to do 3 reps or 5 reps, whatever you're going to do. And literally every 15 to 20 seconds, you're going to do 3 or so reps. So this is great because it allows you to work with a little bit heavier load, but it also allows you to get a little bit more volume in with heavier loads. So you can do heavier loads for more reps, and over time that will carry over to your one sort of single standalone sets where you're trying to get as many reps as possible and your AMRAP stuff. So it kind of looks a little bit like this. I'm not going to load the bar up, there's no point, it's just a demonstration video. That's one thing that really boils my blood. I see guys doing demonstration videos and they're putting like 78% on the bar. It's not needed, just show the movement, man. You're going to come out. 1, 2, 3. Racket. Rest 15 seconds. Once 15 seconds is gone, back in. 1, 2, 3. Racket. 15 seconds again. And it's almost like an AMRAP. You can almost do this like an AMRAP where you try and do as many as you can. You can also do it with a set amount of sets as well. So like if you're doing an 8x3, 5x5, you know, 10x2, 10x3, whatever you're doing, you can fit it in like that. Or like if you're going for hypertrophy as well as size, like I said, you can do it like an AMRAP. See how many sets you can actually get of those chosen rep range with that weight, and then next time you come back, try and get a couple more sets done before you reach failure. Yeah, so that's the first one. Okay, so the second type I'm going to show you is basically it's like a descending rep cluster set. That's sort of how I think of it. You choose a weight you can do for, I'd say, anywhere from 12 to 15 reps. You're going to do the first set, you're going to do 10 reps. Second set, you're going to do 8 to 10 reps. Okay. The third set, you're going to do 6 to 8 reps. And then you're going to do either 4 to 6 reps and then 2 to 4 reps, or however much you can get. But 15 seconds rest in between, okay? 15 seconds rest in between. For this one, you might want a training partner unless you've got a rack set up that you've got an easy escape route. Like I say, I always talk about if you're training by yourself, have an easy escape route, because you never know when it might go wrong. So it basically looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You rest for 15 seconds. Once 15 seconds is gone, so I did 10 again there, but really it'd be like sort of 8 you're aiming for. Now after that second set, you'll notice this really creeps up. It suddenly goes from feeling fairly difficult to, yeah, this is really, really hard, I'm in hell. Third set would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, say 7. So you're in that 6 to 8 range, and you keep going all the way down every 15 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 there. So my aim for this last one would be 2 to 4, but ideally, like, so yeah, sort of 3 sort of reps after 15 seconds. 1, 2, 3, and you sort of do it like that. So that's another really good one. That one actually as well, I actually like doing that for my my secondary movements. So it's really good with dumbbells. You can even do it with dips. But yeah, that is awesome, that one. And again, it takes hardly any time, and you really do feel the burn on that one. Okay, so the third type of cluster set we're going to show is called a Poliquin style cluster set. What it is, it's basically 5 by 5, okay? But within each set is like its own little mini cluster set. So the idea of this is you go very, very heavy. You're working with about 90% of your max, and I know that sounds crazy, like, hang on, 90% of your max for 5 sets of 5, that doesn't make any sense. But one set will be 1 rep every 15 to 20 seconds for 5 reps. That is one set, and you're doing that 5 times. I'd say in between each little 5 rep cluster, you're probably looking at around 2 minutes rest, just because you are working a lot heavier. So it would look like, imagine I've got a loaded bar. Oh. 15 seconds goes by. Come here again. 15 seconds goes by. Now once you start getting fatigued, I would then switch it to 20 seconds and do it like that. So once I'm starting fatigued, I'll go 20 seconds. Come back. 20 seconds is gone. That's 4. So I'm on my last one now. 15, 20 seconds goes by. Finish it off strong. And that's one set. You do that 5 times. That is an absolute ball buster. That one is really good to do with your benching. You could do it with shoulder pressing. You could do it with squats. You could do it with anything. I actually really like doing that one with deadlifting, for my deadlifts. Back when I was before I got injured, when I was getting really strong at deadlifting, and I was doing my last few strongman competitions that I was doing, to get my max up, one of the things I did was Poliquin 5 by 5 cluster, and you generate so much force and like brute strength in the movements by doing that. So things like deadlifting and that, obviously you don't really need a spotter for. If you're benching, overhead pressing, squatting or whatever, if you're not at a gym that has a power rack, you're sort of working with a sort of more old school sort of like commercial rack, get a spotter. If you're training somewhere that has a power rack, use those pins. That's all I'm going to say, use those pins. But yeah, that's the Poliquin 5 by 5 cluster set. Okay, just to show it with something different that isn't just sort of the bench setup, I'm going to use the dip handles here. Now these next two I'm going to sort of show back to back. I got these from Josh Bryant, reading his powerlifting cluster sets book, which is really good. I recommend a lot of his stuff. He does some really good stuff. The Tactical Strongman book is really good. The powerlifting or power building cluster sets book is really good, and then obviously the original Jailhouse Strong is really good. So yeah, a lot of his stuff you can't go wrong with. But these are two things that I got from him that I utilize and have been utilizing for the last couple of years. Not all the time, like I do like to chop and change or do this sort of thing for like 4 weeks or so if I'm using them, and then I'll switch and utilize something else. But yeah, this is first one I'm going to show you. This is called a hypertrophy specific cluster set. So HSCS, hypertrophy specific cluster set. What it is, you start off with 5s. Okay, you're going to have a 5-minute timer, so it's going to be constant set for 5 minutes. You're going to start off with 5s. Once you fail 5 reps, 15 seconds, you then switch to 4 reps. Once you can't get 4 reps every 15 seconds, you then go to 20 seconds, okay? And once you can't get 4 reps every 20 seconds, you go to 3 reps, okay? Up until the point that you fail to do any reps, all right? If you fail to do 3 reps, it stops, okay? But it basically, move this out a little bit, it's a bit more centered. There we go. Basically it looks like this. So I'm up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to rest 15 seconds. Okay. And we're going to go again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Rest 15 seconds. And I'm going to go again. Once that gets too hard, I'm going to then switch to 4 reps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once that gets too hard, 15 seconds. Like I said, I'm going to switch to every 20 seconds. Okay? And I'm going to go all the way to 3 reps. Basically until failure or until I hit 5 minutes. Now, the Jailhouse Strong cluster sets, if memory serves me correctly, it's been a while since I've read the manual, but the Jailhouse Strong cluster sets, very similar. You have a 5-minute timer, but with those, you're staying on as 5s as long as possible. And you'll even go down to, I think, 30 seconds with the 5s. So the volume is a little bit more, the intensity is a little bit more, but the idea is to keep going as long as you can with the 5s until the 5-minute go. So even if you have to then go 30 seconds in between, like I said, just stay in there until the 5 minutes is complete. Or until you can no longer do 5 reps, I believe. But the idea is to do 5s as long as you can. That's why instead of just 15 to 20 seconds rest in between, it goes to 30 seconds, because you're trying to stay with that 5 rep sort of volume. Once you can no longer do 5 reps, you're done. So that is the Jailhouse Strong cluster sets, and the one that I demoed with the dip bars is the hypertrophy specific cluster sets. And I was doing those with dips because those specific cluster sets are ones that I personally like to do if I'm doing like a finisher. So if I'm doing dips, and you can load weight with a weight belt for doing them if you're really strong, but if you're doing a finisher, just using your body weight, coming down, making sure you're getting the full range of motion. So full range of motion for me is just a quick little note. I come all the way down as far as I can go, basically, so my hands are the same level as my nipple line, basically, and then I come all the way up. That's full range of motion with a pause at the bottom, flex at the top, stretch at the bottom, flex at the top, stretch at the bottom. So yeah, hypertrophy specific clusters, Jailhouse Strong specific cluster sets. Okay, so coming into the last sort of one I'm going to show you now. This again is, you can do it as its standalone little mini workout, or you can do it as a finisher on some sort of heavy sort of days. This is called Juarez Valley push-ups. But no, you can do these with dips, you can do these with chin-ups, you could do them with bodyweight squats as a little finisher for squat days or sissy squats. You can do it with any movement you want, really. Hyperextensions, glute ham raises, you could do it with anything. But the idea is, you imagine you're in a 6 foot by 8 foot prison cell, and you've literally got your body weight. That's all you've got to work with. Okay, what I'm going to do, you've got 10s, you've got 16s, you've got 20s. 10s if you're starting off doing them, 16s if you get really good at the 10s, and then 20s if you get really good at the 16s. I'm just going to find an open bit of floor space here. Okay, I'm just going to come here and do one push up there. I'm then going to walk down, if you've got the space to walk down, and do 10. So I'm going to come here, and I'm going to do 2. 1, 2. And I'm going to walk back down. And I'm going to do 9. I'll come back down. You kind of get the idea where I'm going with this. I'm going to do 3. 1, 2, 3. There you go. I can't count. I'm going to come down this way. I'm going to do 8. Back down this way. I'm going to do 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back down. Do 7. Come back down this way. I'm going to do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back down this way. Do 6. And then obviously you hit 6 again or 5 again to finish up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you get the idea. It's staggered. It's like a staggered cluster set. Okay, it's very minimal rest time. The rest time is literally as long as it took me to walk from here to over there. That was my rest time. And it's going until the volume is done. Now, you're supposed to meet in the middle. So it'd be the middle number, so like 5s for the 10s. 16s, you would 16 one side, 1 the other, and you work until you meet at 8 in the middle. And then obviously 20s, you do 20, 1, and you meet at 10 in the middle for those. They are absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. Especially at the end of a workout. It is a real gut buster. But like I said, you can use them push-ups like I just showed you, use them with pull-ups, use them with dips, use them with inverted row. You don't have to pace up and down. You know, you could time just like, say 1 step is 1 second, so it's about 8 paces because of the idea of the 8-foot gel cell. So the idea is 8 paces, but you could do 8 seconds, and yeah, see how far you get. You know, time yourself doing them, and each time you do it, try and beat your time. You get a lot of work done in a very quick amount of time, and you'd be surprised at the results you get. You burn a ton of calories. Let me put that over there. Yeah, like I said, you burn a ton of calories. You tear up a lot of fibres. It gets you working different types of muscle fibres. And well, the pump is insane. The pump is absolutely insane. You do it with any body weight movement. And once you get good at the 20s, if you want to take it to the next step, you could even go around again, but wearing like a weighted vest or something like this, or have a training partner put a plate on your back. You know, get creative with it. You know, and there's loads of things you can do with it. Other, just off the top of my head, I won't tell you about now, because I'm really going to try and wrap the video up now. Other things you can do that are really good for cluster sets, say with sprint training. If you're a track athlete or rugby player or something like that, football player, you do a 3 to 8 second sprint every 30 seconds, and you do anywhere between 5 and 10 total sprints. That is a really effective cluster set for sprint training. Lots of people call that sort of HIIT training because it's like an interval training, but the way I'm thinking of it today is kind of like a cluster set, but for sprints. I won't go into why it needs to be 3 to 8 seconds minimum or maximum. That could maybe be for another video, talking about trying to build up power and explosiveness over time. That's a really good one. You could do that with hill sprints. You could do it with a parachute or pulling a sled. Another good one which I think of it as like a cluster set, is 1 rep every minute on the minute. So you can do that for speed work, dynamic work, 50% bar weight, and you know, some additional bands. Another good one is doing 40% bar weight and like an additional band tension of about 30%. So it's about 70% at the top. That's a good one, every minute on the minute. I actually like doing that with, again, heavier weights. If you're looking at using anywhere from 85, really even to the 95% rep range, you're getting a minute rest. It's 1 lift, and you time between 5 and 10 minutes. And like I said, it's 1 rep every minute on the minute.
But yeah, that's just to finish up what I was saying. That's the video. I hope it was enjoyable. I hope it was informative. I hope I gave you enough. I hope I explained everything enough for you to get what you needed out of each different type of cluster set, basically. But yeah, they are great. I love cluster sets. I always put them in programs. I just think you can do a lot of work in a short amount of time. It's going to carry over for size and strength. You're going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone with them. And it all comes back down to that old school mentality of density training. You see guys in like the 80s and the 70s, these strength athletes, they looked like brick shit houses, and they look like brick shit houses for a reason. Guys like Bill Kazmaier, you know, was very adamant on doing a lot of work in a short amount of time, and it built that muscle density. So that's what it's all about, basically. And yeah, anyway, without babbling too much, give them a try, see which ones you like best. I would love it if someone does try them and then comments on this video and tells me what cluster sets you like best. Yeah, and apart from that, guys, like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment so I know you're out there watching, and let's get this channel growing, you know. Let's make natural lifting great again. Alright guys.